you can start working on with the end of the term requirement. Anyway, the end of the term is actually, I think, third week pa naman of January. So you still have time to work for the final term requirement. No? But anyway, no, maybe you have also submitted. Nagpasa ka na, sir, ng assignment last time? Di pa?
Yes po, sir.
Okay. Sige.
Nakapag-submit po.
Okay, sige. Hindi ko pa kasi na-judge ka. Sige. Anyway, so what we are going, so for during the last period, no, what we normally discuss is about forecasting the demand, no? Now, what we're going to do is to discuss about supply side, no? So, previously, puro demand side lang ang pinag-uusapan natin. Ngayon naman, pag-uusapan natin yung sa energy supply side, no? Energy supply system. So, basically, when we say energy supply system, no, it refers to the infrastructure, the processes, and technologies, no, used to produce, transmit, and distribute energy to meet the given or the demand of a given area. Okay, so syempre sa demand, what we're just taking into consideration is yung mga energy consuming devices. But when we talk about supply, no, kumbaga sa demand, ang tinitignan natin yung iba't ibang sector. For example, tinitignan natin yung residential sector, yung commercial sector, the industry sectors, agricultural sectors, transportation sectors, and so on. Because normally, they are the one who is using or consuming this energy. So sila yung subject of our study. No, yung kanilang behavior, kung ano yung kanilang need, no. On the supply side or in energy supply system, what we normally deal with is the technologies or the infrastructure and the rest of the processes that are used in order to supply adequate in order to secure or ensure adequate supply of energy. No? So if we're talking about electricity, tinitingnan din natin dyan yung transmission, yung distribution, and so on. No? To meet, no? Siyempre, ang purpose nan is to meet the demand. Okay, kailangan nagtutugma yung supply and demand. Okay, so this includes yan. Pag-uusapan naman natin dito yung iba't ibang klase ng power plant, no? Yung kanilang mga energy conversion technologies, okay, the transmission and distribution networks and storage systems. Okay, so ayan. Those are components, no, or facilities that are needed, no. Alam naman natin yung power plant and conversion technologies, ito yung mga ginagamit natin to convert the primary form of energy such as fuel into secondary form or a more useful form of energy, normally in a form of electricity, heat, and mechanical energy. Okay? So, and if we're talking about electricity, again, no, andyan yung transmission and distribution. As well as yung tinatawag nating storage. Although when we talk about storage, no, hindi naman palaging battery ang pinag-uusapan natin. No? It could be compressed gas, no, or other forms of storage systems. No? Okay. So, what is the importance of energy supply system analysis? First is we have to ensure or to assess, okay, energy availability, reliability, and sustainability. Okay? So availability, okay? When you talk about availability, we're talking about adequacy of the supply. When you say reliability, no, its ability to be available at a given period of time, and sustainability, no. Syempre, we're talking about continuous, no, supply of electricity or power, no, kasi alam naman natin it has a tremendous impact on our uh, economy, no, or in our lives, no. Kahit sa bahay nga natin, kapag nawawalan tayo ng kuryente or nawawalan tayo ng let's say fuel, no, sa pagluluto, no, talagang yun ay nagiging inconvenient sa atin, no. So this problem, no, nung mga unang panahon, no, nung I think nung mga early 90s, Yan, commonly, yun yung nagiging problema natin itong tatlong ito, yung availability, reliability, and sustainability. No? And therefore, no, the government really tried to implement programs and strategies that would ensure na magiging available, magiging reliable and sustainable yung ating energy. To identify the most cost-effective, environmentally friendly, and technologically feasible solutions. So when we talk about technologies, when we talk about facilities, when we talk about resources, no, especially energy resources, tinitignan din natin yung cost effectiveness. We have to balance yung cost effectiveness, yung environmental impact, and yung technological feasibility, no? Because iba-ibang forms or iba-ibang sources of energy ay syempre magkakaiba sila ng cost, no? Alam naman natin when we talk about conventional energy resources, itong mga non-renewable energy resources, normally sila yung cost effective, no? Kasi medyo mura because yung availability nila. Okay? And yung technology has already been established for several years, no? So talagang improve na yung efficiency, talagang subok na, no, yung process, no? Kaya yung kanilang cost ay medyo mababa. Unlike with this renewable energy, no, most of this renewable energy are still in the stage of development, no? Ini-improve pa natin yung technology, ini-improve pa natin yung system, kaya yung efficiency niya, yung output niya medyo mas mababa, no? But in terms of environmental impact, no, mas maganda naman yung environmental impact ng mga renewable energy than the conventional energy. That is why, no, we balance, no? And syempre yung technology, no? Kasi if nobody will adapt the technology, obviously researchers or developers will not be motivated to further enhance the technology, no? So that is why even though the technology is not that efficient, no, we are still trying to make use of the technology, so at least, no, we can also find a way to improve the technology, or we can encourage those developers to further enhance technology. So yan yung tatlo, no? Cost effectiveness, environmental impact, and technological feasibility. So energy supply system analysis is needed to support energy security and reduce dependency on limited or harmful energy sources. Okay, so without this energy supply system analysis, we will not be able to identify other potential resources that would reduce, okay, our dependence on limited or harmful energy. And in the case of the Philippines, we're not just talking about harmful energy sources, but rather we're talking about our dependency on the imported fuel. No? So take note that the cost of energy in the Philippines is highly volatile, basically because our self-sufficiency is very low. No? So I think, no, not even 50% of our primary energy is actually acquired, no, or we call it indigenous, but rather, no, more than half of this energy supply, no, especially the primary forms of energy, are still imported from other countries, and that makes our cost of energy, specifically our electricity, very volatile. Okay, so yun yung ano, no, at least, no, if we can further develop some other technology, if we can identify potential other sources of energy, so there is a possibility that our self-sufficiency will also improve. So what are the key components of energy supply systems? Ano ba yung mga components? Una, titignan natin yung mga energy sources. Alam naman natin yan, when we talk about energy sources, we're talking about mga non-renewable sources like fossil fuel, okay? Yan, mga fossil fuel natin, yung mga coal, oil, natural gas, nuclear energy. Okay, those are just some few examples of non-renewable energy, but actually there are still a lot of examples of non-renewable energy. And when we talk about renewable energy sources, no, marami din naman yan, no. such as yung solar, wind, hydro, electric, geothermal, biomass, no? Sometimes we call it big show, 'di ba? Biomass, geothermal, solar, hydro, ocean, and waste energy. Okay, so and then aside from non-renewable and renewable sources, no, we also adapt, okay, the combination of the use of these renewable and non-renewable energy sources. We call it the hybrid systems. It combines renewable sources with conventional energy system. Like for example, a geothermal plant combined with diesel plant. Okay, so hydro and diesel. No, there are some, diba, power generating plants na ganun yung setup. We call it hybrid because hydro is renewable and diesel plant is non-renewable. Sometimes natural gas and ano pa ba? Hindi eh. Natural gas is also a how do you call it? Ang tawag lang natin sa kanila is uh, combined, no, power plant, no. Pag sinabi nating hybrid, dapat yung isa renewable, yung isa is non-renewable. Okay? So just a few review of ano ba yung uh, pros and cons ng paggamit ng coal, no? Siyempre, ang isa sa pinaka-common, no, but why do we need to discuss this? Because one of the common source of energy, no, primary forms of energy that we use in the Philippines is yung coal naman talaga. No? Maraming application yung coal. No? I think no, siya na may pinakamaraming applications. Okay? And siya na yung pinakasubok na form of primary energy. No? Okay, so some of the advantages or the pros of using coal, no? Yan. Abundant and affordable. Okay? Although sa Philippines, no, we have very limited indigenous supply of coal, but in some other countries, no, they have sufficient, no, sources of coal in which they are capable of exporting, no, this coal to other countries. No, it gives them an additional income. No, the country, no, earns an income because of this uh, exporting of coal. So marami kasi alam naman natin, no, na yung coal was formed million years ago, no. Talagang yung mga nag-decompose na mga ang tawag natin doon, uh, mga nag-decompose na biological matters, no, ay naging coal, no, for several years. Kaya yung almost yung surface ng earth is merong mga available na coal, no, magkakaiba lang kasi yung quantity. Kaya no, siya yung pinakaunang na-develop, no, and that has been historically the cheapest source of energy. Okay, another advantage of using coal is it has high energy density. No, ibig sabihin ng high energy density, the amount of energy that it produces, no, okay, from a certain, no, amount of coal. No? So it's the ratio of how much energy is being produced by a certain amount of coal. So, ibig sabihin, mataas, no, yung energy na napoproduce niya sa kaunting amount lang. Okay? So yan yung tinatawag nating high energy density. So talagang it's really an attractive source of energy for talking about fuel, no? And no, as I mentioned a while ago, no, okay, there is a well-established infrastructure, okay, for mining, for transporting, burning, okay, of coal to produce like energy, electricity, heat, and so on. Okay? While obviously, no, marami namang environmental or marami namang disadvantage ang paggamit ng coal. Kaya marami na rin mga batas, no, na pinapatupad, especially yung Department of Energy, Department of Environmental and Natural Resources, no, just to address, no, the negative environmental impact of the use of coal. No, marami ng mga technologies, no, na in-incorporate ngayon sa mga power generating plant, no? Just to make sure, no, that concerns about yan yung mga carbon dioxide emission, carbon monoxide emission, sulfur dioxide emissions, mga nitrogen oxides, sila yung mga harmful gases that are normally, no, being released to our surroundings. And no, yun yung nagko-cause ng ating global warming, air pollution, mga greenhouse gases. No? That is why no, may mga technologies na rin, but still no, mas stringent yung mga batas ngayon, no, na pinatutupad, no, just to address this environmental impact. May mga electrostatic precipitators na tayo, and even yung quality ng coal is being enhanced, no, just to make sure that no, minimum amount of this harmful gases will be released in our environment. The next one is the health hazards, no. Kung napapanood nyo sa mga balita or nabalitaan nyo na in some other countries, especially sa China, makikita nyo talagang worst yung situations, especially ng mga miners ng coal. Kasi syempre, kinukuha sila from beneath the ground, no? Medyo malalim, no? And no, talagang naguhukay sila, no? Yun yung isa pa sa potential environmental impact. Kung natatandaan niyo pa dati, yung sumalangit nawa yung former DNR secretary natin, no, na namatay, no? Na talagang he really no she really uh, tried no to control no itong mga illegal minings or yung sobra-sobra din no na pagmamine, no, katulad na lang ng mga coal mining natin, no. So aside from the potential health hazards na binibigay niya sa mga tao, no, uh, yung direct no na sa mining, yung gases din, yung mga pollutant din na nire-release niya is also hazardous and not good for human. And no, obviously yung coal is non-renewable. So pag sinabi nating non-renewable, talagang it will really take millions of years before it can be replenished. And time will come. No, definitely, once this fuel resources has already been depleted, no, definitely we will be expecting no that the cost of this coal will also increase, no. Darating yung time na mas mahal na ang coal in comparison with other forms of or other fuel. And then another type of fuel na ginagamit natin, yung oil. Alam naman natin, lalong-lalo na sa mga sasakyan, yung mga ginagamit natin, mga bunker oils, diesel oils, gasoline oils, so on, no? Mga we call it mga petroleum products. Okay? So, bakit natin sila ginagamit? Katulad din ng coal, no, mataas yung kanyang energy output. Okay? Aside from that, yung oil is more versatile than yung coal. Okay? And what do you mean by more versatile, no? Mas marami siyang nagiging application. For example, no, nagagamit siya sa transportation. Okay? Kagaya ng mga gasoline and diesel engines. Nagagamit siya to produce heat, no, as fuel. And nagagamit din siya sa mga chemical industries. Okay, to make other usable products like plastics, fertilizers, and other synthetic materials. So, this is highly versatile in comparison with the coal. Kaya talagang pag sinabi mong oil, kaya tinatawag natin silang petroleum products kasi yung range ng products ay talagang madami. Okay? And similar to the coal naman, okay, talagang well-established na yung mga infrastructure for extraction, for refining, for distribution and transportation. So talagang it has been there for several years, kaya talagang it's already established. However, no, katulad din ng coal, meron din niya mga disadvantages. So ano-ano ba yung mga example ng disadvantages? Katulad din ng coal, meron din siyang environmental impact because once you burn itong mga oil, mga fuel oils, no, it also releases harmful gases. No? Aside from that, kung nababalitaan nyo, minsan no, kapag nagta-transport ng mga bunker oils, no, talagang pag lumulubog yung barko or nagkakaroon ng leak yung barko, okay, ang nangyayari dyan, no, ay nagkakaroon ng oil spills. Okay, so yan yung isa pa sa mga disadvantage because normally the transport of oil, no, are using mga barge, no. At pag tinatransport yan, may mga instances talaga na nagkakaroon ng oil spill. Even sometimes when you use oil fuels, no, sa pagpapatakbo ng mga engines, no, talagang nagkakaroon niya ng mga oil spills. And it really affects yung habitat, no, ng mga ocean habitats natin, yung ocean bodies, aside from, no, the gases that it releases once it burns, no. Next is yung price volatility. Katulad nga ng sinabi ko, especially sa atin, sa Pilipinas, very volatile yung cost of oil or mga petroleum products. Okay? Because of the geopolitical instability. Okay? Kung natatandaan nyo, nung nagkaroon ng gera between Russia and what country is it? Kalimutan ko na. Yung recent, no, na gera, no, it affects, no, yung cost ng ating ng ating petroleum fuels. Okay? Pag may mga gera-gera talaga, no, talagang yan yung mga geopolitical instability that affects, no, the cost of liquid fuels or mga petroleum fuels natin. Okay? Yan. Next is yung, syempre, katulad din ng coal, siya ay non-renewable. Okay. So, why are we presenting this? No? I am presenting this because, okay, to give you a hint. No? Kasi we're talking about technologies, we're talking about the process of producing the power. And, no, ang ano ba kasi doon, ano ba yung best choice of fuel that we're going to use just to produce the required amount and form of energy. Okay, another very familiar non-renewable energy source ay yung tinatawag nating natural gas. Okay? So sa Pilipinas, meron tayong mga natural gas, no? Kung naririnig nyo sa may Malampaya, no? But no, sabi nga nila yung ating reserve, no, for natural gas ay medyo konti na lang, no? I think mga by 2030 or by 2040, no, ay talagang depleted na yung indigenous supply natin ng natural gas. That's why we are trying to locate, no, another potential source of natural gas, no? Because some studies says that there are still other potential areas in the Philippines with high natural gas reserves, but that is something that still has to be proven. Okay, may mga studies na ginagawa yung mga resource assessment experts, no, on quantifying, no, the amount of natural gas reserves in a particular area. So sa mga isla malapit din o sa mga areas malapit din sa Palawan, sabi nila marami pang mga natural gas reserves that are not yet, no, explored. Okay? And then, ano naman yung kanyang advantages, no? Okay, if we're going to compare coal, oil, and natural gas, okay, it is well understood that the natural gas has lower emissions. Okay, kasi what cause ba yung emissions? Unang-una, ang nagiging cause ng mga harmful gases ay yung mga unburned carbon. Okay? Unburned carbon. Okay? Kaya ang gas ay highly volatile kasi siya, highly flammable. No, kaya yung carbon ay yung amount of carbon na nasusunog ay mas mataas. No, kasi yung carbon, once it reacts with oxygen, 'di ba? Nagpo-produce yan ng gas like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. Mas mababa din yung kanyang nitrogen content. No, I think, kung familiar kayo sa CHONSAM, no, kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung fuel, 'di ba, ang common, no, na naririnig natin na elements or components are carbon, okay, hydrogen, the oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, ash, and yung moisture content. In terms of uh, nitrogen content and sulfur content, mas mababa yung nitrogen and sulfur content ng tawag natin dito ng natural gas or ng gas, no? Kaya you even if you burn it, no, with the use of oxygen because of the oxidation process, no, even if it combines with oxygen, no, very minimal amount of nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxides are being emitted because of the low percentage of nitrogen sulfur present, no, in the natural gas, no, in comparison with diesel and with oil and coal. Okay, similar with oil and coal, no, natural gas is quite abundant. Okay, particularly in regions like sa US, no, Russia, and in the Middle East. Sila talaga yung mga top producers of natural gases. Okay? Same with diesel or with oil, this is highly versatile, but this is actually more versatile than the oil. Okay, so it can be used for several applications like in electricity generation, generation of heat, industrial applications, and no, kung napapansin nyo na ngayon, meron na mga compressed natural gas or mga auto LPG na tinatawag natin. No? So meron na rin mga auto LPG. So ibig sabihin, pwede na rin natin siyang gamitin for vehicles, for transportation purposes. And since no, yung gas is very volatile, no, ay madali siyang masunog. Okay? Kaya in terms of uh, maneuverability, no, yung maneuverability niya ay napakataas. Okay? Madali mo siyang i-on, madali mo siyang i-off. Parang ano lang din, no? Parang yung stove sa bahay natin, di ba? Madali lang naman siyang i-on, saka madali siyang i-off. Because hindi katulad ng coal, no? Pag pinatay mo, meron pang baga. No? Pero sa case ng natural gas, talagang pag pinatay mo, so automatically mamamatay siya. However, no, meron din naman siyang mga disadvantages. Okay? Siyempre, no, katulad din ng coal and oil, meron din siyang significant emissions, no? Emissions of greenhouse gases. Okay? Lalong-lalo na yung methane. Okay? Yung methane kasi, no, it becomes yan ang nagiging greenhouse gas that cause yung global warming. Okay? Then, yung environmental impact ng extraction, okay? Siyempre, yung extraction niya, gumagawa kasi tayo ng mga hydraulic fracturing. Pag sinabi nating hydraulic fracturing, yung either yung ground or yung rock structure ng earth ay binubutasan natin, no, just to extract, no, to allow the gas to escape, no, from this crack. Okay? So yun yung siya, sinisira niya sinisira niya yung natural na landscape. Okay? So and no, yung pagsira natin yan, yung mga hydraulic fracturing na yan, doon din kasi dumadaan yung groundwater natin. So there is a possibility na yung groundwater natin will be contaminated with natural gas. Sometimes nagiging cause din siya ng mga seismic activities katulad ng geothermal power plant, and no, talagang so once na na-damage na yung water body, sisirain niya rin talaga yung environment. And no, this is also a non-renewable form of energy. Okay, another is a very controversial form of energy, especially sa Pilipinas. Napaka-highly controversial nito. Okay, up until now, no, marami pa ring haka-haka, marami pa ring mga plano, marami mga proposals, no, na magtayo or patakbuhin or paganahin yung Bataan Nuclear Power Plant. No, na up until now, wala pa rin namang nangyayari, no? Actually, we have an initial discussion with the PNRI, no? We are planning to yun, we have hopefully no magmaterialize na karoon kami ng collaborations to conduct trainings, no? At magkaroon tayo ng makapag-develop pa tayo ng maraming mga nuclear physicists, no? At mga radiologists, no? Technical manpower pagdating sa nuclear energy, no? Kasi there are plans, no, na mag-establish ng nuclear power plant sa Pilipinas. So, yun yung plano, no? Together with Japan Atomic Energy Agency and International Atomic Energy Agency. No? So, we are trying to collaborate, no? Hopefully mag-materialize na makapag-train o makapag-develop ng mga experts, no, sa Pilipinas pagdating sa nuclear energy, so that kapag talagang nag-decide na yung gobyerno na i-pursue yung establishment of nuclear power plant, at least, no, meron na tayong mga ready na manpower, no, technically knowledgeable and capable, no, manpower, no, to probably hindi para mag-design, probably just to operate and monitor and run the facility. Kasi yung design, medyo it will take time at medyo mataas yung level of tawag natin doon, mas mataas yung level of knowledge, no, or expertise, no, na kailangan, no, para makapag-design ng mga nuclear power generating plants. Now, generally, no, ito yung advantages of nuclear power plant. No? So, kung ikukumpara mo siya doon sa tatlong nauna, okay, this form of energy really generates, no, very low amount of carbon dioxide emissions. So, making it clean energy source in terms of greenhouse gas. Talagang sobrang laki ng difference ng carbon dioxide emission ng nuclear energy or nuclear power generating plant. If we're going to compare it mga coal-fired power plant, oil-fired power generating plant, or natural gas power generating plants, if we're going to compare its emission, masyadong malayo, no, yung difference, no? Same with other fuel, no? At actually mas mataas siya, no? Alam naman natin, no, na talagang high energy density ito. No, yung small amount lang ng mga nuclear fuels like mga uranium, no, can produce large amount of energy. Isang maliit, no, na amount lang ng uranium at ng nuclear fuel cell, no, can produce high amount or large amount of energy, making it highly efficient. Okay? And sa ibang bansa, no, talagang yung nuclear power plant, no, are providing continuous, stable, okay, base load electricity demand. Talagang alam ano na yan, no, sa ibang bansa na bakit mura ang kanilang cost of electricity, because they have established several nuclear power generating facilities. Okay? However, no, meron din yung mga consequences, okay, or disadvantages. Okay, alam naman natin yung nangyari sa Chernobyl, alam naman natin yung nangyari sa Japan, no, previous several years ago, no. Pero no, ang kagandahan kasi nuclear power plant is actually the safest. Ano naman yun, no? Dahil siya yung pinaka, tawag natin doon, siya yung pinaka risky, no? Siya naman yung ginawang pinaka-safe, no, na power generating plants, no? So, although, sabi ko nga, nangyari sa Chernobyl, na nangyari sa Fukushima, no, na talagang it highlighted the catastrophic risk, no, of nuclear energy. However, no, yung mga current technologies naman na ngayon, yung mga current improvement, no, sa infrastructures has already, no, address this issue. Dati yun, no? Dati yun na hindi pa masyadong advanced yung mga technologies, hindi pa masyadong advanced yung mga infrastructures. Medyo nangyari yung ganung problema. But, no, since sabi ko nga, since this one is very risky, but, no, highly efficient, talagang several experts, no, talagang really spend time to improve and secure, no, this power generating systems. Kasi talagang highly reliable and dependable source of energy ang nuclear power generating or nuclear power plants. Okay, in the Philippines, no, if ever we will be putting up a nuclear power facilities, one of the problems that we have to address is yung ating disposal ng mga radioactive wastes. Okay? Yan yung isa sa pinaka, kasi it's quite expensive. No? And probably it will cost safety risk sa atin. Okay? So, yung mga used, no, nuclear fuel cells na kailangan nang i-dispose, talagang kailangan mo mag-put up ng matibay-tibay at maganda-gandang facilities for that, no? Kasi hindi naman, kung tutuusin, hindi talaga siya din i-dispose, but rather, no, ay safely being stored, no, and managed, no? Talagang nilalagay po yan sa mga facilities na talagang hindi sila, no, kahit anong mangyari, kahit anong earthquake na mangyari, dapat hindi sila maihahalo, no, sa environment, no? Talagang they should be isolated and secured. Okay? Isa pa, no, sabi ko nga, dahil advanced yung mga technologies, facilities, infrastructure sa mga nuclear power generating plant, no, yung cost. Okay? Like for example, yung Bataan, hindi ko na masyado matandaan, but we spend, no, millions of dollars. That was several years ago. Just to put up this Bataan nuclear power plant. But unfortunately, it wasn't able to produce any, not even 1 kilowatt amount of power. But no, we really spend a lot of that just to put up or establish that Bataan nuclear power plant. Okay, and then, yan, yung sinasabi nga natin, yung security risk. Okay, sa example, no, pwedeng pasukin ng mga terorista yung mga power generating plant, no? It will impose national security threats, no? Or baka papasok tayo ng ibang bansa, no? At unahin yung mga nuclear power facilities natin. So it will really pose national security threats, or pwede siyang gamitin as weapon. Okay? Ito naman, okay, so we're done with mga non-renewable energy sources. Pero sabi ko nga, medyo marami pa po yan. No? Diniscuss ko lang yung pinaka-common, no? At pinaka-gamit, no, na form of non-renewable energy. Same with that, no, we are going also to discuss yung mga pinaka-common kasi marami pang non-renewable energy sources. Mga thermoionic, magneto, hydrodynamic, no? But I will not dwell on that kasi yung mga tawag natin doon, mga bagong technology na ginagamit, mga piezoelectric, ganun, we will not dwell on that kasi hindi pa siya well established. No? We will just be discussing yung mga renewable energy that are already established. Although, sinasabi ko lang na established kasi gamit na, but no, in terms of efficiency, in terms of studies, there are still a lot of studies that are being conducted, particularly to improve the type of materials, no, na ginagamit. Kasi when we talk about solar energy, dalawang klase kasi yung paraan o dalawang paraan ng pag-utilize or pag-utilize ng solar energy. Okay, pwede tayong gumamit ng photovoltaic cell, no? Yun yung common na nakikita natin, no? Mga photovoltaics, no? Or pwede natin siyang gamitin solar thermal. Okay? Yung solar thermal naman, ito yung mga alam naman na siguro natin yung mga parabolic dish, no? na ginagamit, no, for yung iba gumagamit ng tawag natin nun, I forgot the right term, no? But there are a lot of technologies na ginagamit, no, just yung mga solar pero normally mga solar concentrators ang ginagamit talaga eh. Mga solar concentrators kapag solar thermal. Pero kapag mga photovoltaic, so ibang ano naman yon, we are using light, no, yung mga photons, kaya photovoltaic. Sinabi nating solar thermal, ang ginagamit talaga natin is yung heat, no, that is coming from the sun. So siya yung isa sa pinaka-popular sa ngayon na renewable energy, no, and no, abundant and free. Tama naman, no, abundant siya and free, no, but unfortunately hindi sa lahat ng lokasyon ay maganda yung kalidad ng energy, no. Tinitignan natin yan in terms of solar irradiance, tinitignan din natin sa lugar kung mataas yung cloud coverings, kung yung albedo ng lugar, no, ay nakaka-apekto yan sa amount of energy na na-harness natin from the solar energy. Okay, pero almost all part naman ay tinatamaan ng solar energy, pero iba-iba kasi yung magnitude. Environmentally friendly. Okay, siyempre dahil wala kang sinusunog na fuel, no, so siya ay environmentally friendly. Okay, once na naka-install ka na, okay, bawa meron ka ng facilities, meron ka ng solar farm, yung cost of operations niya ay medyo mababa because you are not consuming fuel. Pero yung kanyang initial cost naman ay mataas. Ang ano lang doon, low operating cost once na meron ka na. But, okay, pag magtatayo ka pa lang, it requires high initial capital. And in terms of scalability, no, so ang kagandahan nito, pwede kang mag-establish ng solar energy facility that is just enough to sustain your energy demand. No, hindi mo kailangan kumbaga medyo in terms of scalability, highly scalable siya kasi kung pwede siyang ilagay almost anywhere na may available na space provided na tinatamaan naman siya ng araw. So marami na ngayon mga compact na solar energy or mga solar panels na tinatawag. Okay? Pero syempre, meron din siyang disadvantage, no? Syempre, pag gabi or pag tag-ulan, pag makulimlim, do not expect na makakapag-produce ka ng sufficient amount of energy. And as I mentioned a while ago, it is highly, yung kanyang initial cost is quite high. And no, ngayon, kahit meron kang malaking solar panel, the problem is in terms of storage. That's another thing that experts are trying to develop or to establish, to develop a battery that could store, no, huge amount of energy. So, yun pa yung they are trying to explore materials that could store huge amount of energy. So, karamihan ng mga thesis ngayon, yun yung ginagawa, yung study about materials, no, for batteries. And then, space requirements. No? If we're talking about solar plants, no, solar farms, talagang kailangan mo ng malawak ang solar farm just to produce huge amount of energy. The next one is wind energy. This is also very popular. Okay? So katulad din ng sun, okay? Actually for information ng lahat, wind energy is a form of solar energy. Okay? Bakit, no? Wind kasi is generated when air moves. Bakit nagkakaroon ng air movement? Because of the difference in density ng air, no? Siyempre, iba-ibang lugar, iba-iba ng temperature. So dahil iba-iba ng temperature, we're talking about air. The air is quite sensitive with temperature. So sa mga lugar na mainit, expected natin na less dense yung air. Sa mga lugar naman na malamig, expect natin na high dense yung air. So yung difference in densities, okay, it creates a buoyant effect, no? Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng air circulation. And that air circulation and air movement, no, is called wind. Okay? Kaya sabi ko nga, wind is also a form of solar energy, or wind energy is also a form of solar energy. Okay? So again, no, that is clean, sustainable, renewable, and abundant, cost-effective, no, kasi katulad din ng solar, kapag na-establish na, okay, wala na masyadong expenses, more on maintenance and operating expenses na lang. And energy independence. So yung energy independence, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa iba't ibang lugar. So actually, one of my students, o yung kanyang advisor sa thesis, no, ang kanyang thesis is about development of a new design of water turbine. Okay, so maganda naman yung kanyang naging study. Pero ang plano niya is combine it with wind. No? Kasi doon sa lugar ay potentially maganda rin yung wind. So he can make use of wind turbine and water turbines combination. Okay? Just to, ano kasi yun parang off-grid yung lugar. So wala pang supply ng electricity doon sa site na napili niya. So yun naman yung advantage ng ganitong technology. Disadvantages or consequences are intermittency and variability. Alam naman natin yan kasi dependent tayo sa wind. No? Impact on wildlife, no? Kasi pag malalaking wind turbine, sabi nila, no, yan daw ay nakakaapekto sa mga ibon, no? Na nag-create din sila ng flickering effect, no, na nakakaapekto din sa mga ibon, at yun nga, yung tumatama sila doon sa mga blade, no? And syempre, yung lugar, kung napapansin nyo, sa may Burgos, no, dati yun ay kagubatan, yun ay forest, no, but no, when yung wind farm was established doon, medyo nakalbo yung bundok. Okay? So, impact on wildlife, noise and aesthetic issues, okay, space and location requirements. Hydropower plant, okay. So, siyempre alam naman natin yan, ito, yung mga hydro turbines, no, mga water turbines na tinatawag natin. Okay? So, these are highly reliable and consistent. Once na meron kang stored. Ang kagandahan kasi nito, hindi katulad ng air or hindi katulad ng wind and solar energy. Ito ay naiimbak or naiipon sa mga reservoir. Okay? Kaya pwede kapag tag-ulan, pwede ka mag-ipon ng tubig sa mga reservoir. Kapag tag-araw or tag-init, no, pwede mong gamitin yon, okay, to produce electricity. Okay? O kaya kapag araw, no, halimbawa malakas yung energy demand, no, yung mga planta ay nagiging power generating plant. Kapag gabi, no, na medyo mababa yung demand for electricity, yung planta ay nagiging pump na pang-ipon ng tubig. Yan yung mga tinatawag nating pump storage hydro power plant. No? Na kapag mababa yung demand, instead na gamitin sila to produce electricity, ginagamit sila to store, no? To store water doon sa reservoir. Okay, yung mga pump storage, hydro power generating plant. So, kaya in terms of reliability, this is highly reliable and consistent, no? Low emissions, kasi kahit paano nagre-release to ng greenhouse gas. Bakit? No, kasi once na in-store mo yung tubig sa malalaking reservoir, no, yung mga gases doon, no, nagki-create siya kasi siya ng gases, yung mga digestions na nangyayari, no, talagang yung mga impurities ng tubig, no, yun yung nagko-cause ng generation ng greenhouse gas. Okay? This is also scalable. Marami ng klase, di ba? May mga picohydro, microhydro, okay? Na depende no sa laki no. Marami ding iba-ibang sizes din yung hydropower plant no. And katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina no, pwede siyang maging pump storage no. Sa umaga power generation, sa gabi siya ay pump. So some of the consequences katulad din ng ibang katulad din ng mga renewable energy no, meron din siyang environmental impact. Okay, kasi syempre magtatayo ka ng mga dam. Okay? Tapos doon sa dam, yung discharge mo sobrang lalakas. Syempre, doon sa dam, mayroong mga kasama ring mga isda na talagang yun, namamatay din sila. No? Kaya may mga environmental impact din naman siya. At yun nga, lalo na kapag mga run-off river, so iniiba mo yung binabago mo yung direction ng flow kaya it affects yung ecosystem. Okay, high initial cost kasi ang requirement for hydroelectric power generating plant, lalong-lalo na yung malaki, ay kailangan mo mag-establish ng dams or reservoir. And normally, no, dapat itong mga dams and reservoir talagang sobrang tibay, no, in that it can withstand yung mga shocks or earthquake. Kasi can you imagine kapag ang mga reservoir ay nag-collapse, no, with the volume of water na laman yan, so malaki yung chance na maraming lugar ang lulubog no kapag nag-collapse yung mga water dams natin. Okay? So basically this is depends on water availability. Tama din naman. Kaya nga 'di ba pag minsan nagkakaroon tayo ng rotational brownout. So bakit nagkakaroon ng rotational brownout? Because there are some hydroelectric power plant that are not operated during summer basically because there is a conflict between the use of water as a source of energy or the use of water to directly provide the need of the people or the need of the community. So, syempre, papipiliin ka kuryente versus tubig, syempre, doon ka na lang sa tubig. Okay? And, yan, limited suitable locations kasi nga, yung mga dams hindi pwedeng malapit sa residential areas. That is very risky kapag malalaking hydroelectric power plant. Next, geothermal energy. So geothermal, when you talk about geothermal, is energy extracted beneath the earth. No? May tatlong klase tayo ng mga geothermal energy. Di ba, mayroon tayong mga liquid dominated, steam dominated, meron tayong mga hot dry rocks, no? In terms of technology, meron tayong mga binary geothermal, meron tayong multi flash, no? Single flash power generate geothermal power plant or multiple flash geothermal power generating plant. So technically kung alam niyo yung mga yon, no, yun yung iba't ibang classifications ng geothermal energy. But basically, pag sinabi natin geothermal energy, ni-extract natin yung init coming from the earth, no, to run normally yung mga turbines. No? So yung init na yon, pwede siyang direktang gamitin sa turbine, yun yung tinatawag nating steam-dominated geothermal plant or geothermal reservoir, or pwedeng yung tubig naman, yung hot water, gagamitin natin as a source of heat para doon sa fluid no na nagpapatakbo naman ng turbine. Okay? So, ang geothermal power plant, for the information ng lahat, no, ang Pilipinas ay known pagdating sa geothermal energy, no, because we have several geothermal power generating plants. Okay? So, these power generating plants are highly sustainable and reliable. Kasi, yun naman yun, no, pag nakapagbutas ka na, although one of the major initial cost no that you need to spend no in putting up geothermal power plant is yung drilling no Kasi yung drilling success rate ay up until now, nasa 30% pa lang. Okay? Uh, Even though we already have advanced technologies, no, but yung risk of drilling is still really high, no, kasi mababa pa rin yung efficiency or success rate, no, nung drilling, no. Pero once, no, na nakapag, kasi normally sa resource assessment naman, tinitignan natin kung sustainable yung amount of geothermal energy. If you happen to read, there are some geothermal facilities, I think in Mindoro, na hindi na ginagamit ngayon because hindi naman nag-fail yung kanilang drilling, but rather, no, na overestimate nila yung geothermal effluent na pwedeng makuha, no. So they found out na hindi pala sufficient, no, yung geothermal effluent, kaya nag-shutdown po yung facility. Okay, low emissions. Okay, actually meron siyang mga emissions. Okay, nagre-release siya ng mga nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, but not as much as mga conventional power generating plant. So basically, this one is used for base load power generation and, no, small land footprint. So it means, no, if we're going to compare solar farms, wind farms, and geothermal plant, given the same capacity, okay, pag-usapan natin kung pare-pareho sila ng capacity, mas mababa yung space requirement ng geothermal facilities than hydro, wind, and solar. Ang disadvantage lang niya ay location specific siya. Okay? Although, siyempre, lahat naman, no, yung buong ground naman ng Earth ay beneath that ay may geothermal energy. Pero ang pinag-uusapan kasi doon is gaano kalalim, no? So when you say mayroon kang geothermal energy reservoir, you have to make sure na hindi naman sa ganoon kalalim so that you will also be able to minimize the cost of drilling. Okay, so high initial cost, no? Ayan, no? Ang problema, yung production well, kaya sometimes hindi siya tinatawag na renewable, sometimes hindi siya kinoconsider na renewable kasi ang totoo, no, yung mga production well natin ay nauubusan yan ng effluent. Okay? Nauubusan sa ng effluent. Kaya nagpapalipat-lipat ng butas. Kaya kung makakita kayo ng mga geothermal power plant, actually they have several production well. Okay, and potential for induced seismicity. Okay, so pag nagbubutas, no, yung vibrations, yun, hazardous yun, o risky. And then the next one is ocean energy. Actually, ocean energy is one of my expertise. Okay, I am very interested in ocean energy, particularly ocean wave energy generation. Actually, we have developed small ocean wave energy or wave energy device or wave energy conversion device in Taguig, no. So we put up a small wave tank and develop a small wave energy conversion device, no? Because actually that is my research interest, no. I am doing, no, several research about ocean energy, no, from resource generation to development of technology. Actually, most of my research in Taguig, in TUP, is related to ocean energy. Okay, so when we talk about ocean energy, tatlong form po kasi yun. Meron tayong tinatawag na tidal energy conversion, wave energy conversion, and meron tayong tinatawag na OTEC or ocean thermal energy conversion. Okay? Now, what are the advantages of ocean energy? Okay, yon. This is highly predictable and consistent, no? Kasi normally, if we're talking about ocean energy, lalo na kapag tidal energy is highly predictable. Hindi katulad ng wind tsaka solar ang hirap nila i-predict. Pero yung tides and normally kasi yung mga waves naman na ginagamit for generation is mga wind generated tsaka gravity generated waves. Pag sinabi natin mga gravity generated waves, kasama na dyan yung tides. Low environmental impact, no? Although hindi siya kasi gumagamit ng fossil fuel, pero in terms of environmental impact din kasi naapektuhan mo din yung water bodies actually, no? Abundant resource. Ayan, lalong-lalo sa Pilipinas. And can you imagine, more than 70% of the surface of the earth is covered with water. Okay? 'Di ba? Napakalaking porsyento ng buong mundo ay 'di ba? Karagatan, no? So there is really a very big potential for ocean energy in the world. Okay? That is the reason why I am really interested into ocean wave energy because Philippines is an archipelagic country. Most of our islands are bounded by seas and oceans. And no, I think, no, I do believe that there is really a high potential source of energy sa mga karagatan natin. Okay, and some of the disadvantages yon kasi yung technology niya is hindi pa masyadong established. Okay, yung mga WEC na tinatawag natin, yung mga wave energy conversion devices natin, ay hindi pa sila masyadong established. Kaya medyo mas expensive pa siya. Okay? Limited locations, yan. Actually, this is my study, no? Ocean Wave Energy Resource Assessment in the Philippines. No, I make use a lot of approaches, like I use satellite data altimeters, I use in situ measurements, mga wave and tide gauges, I use ocean wave modeling, no, just to identify potential sites where we can put up, no, ocean wave uh, power generating facility. Okay, although there are some studies that says na meron ding area sa Pilipinas na mataas naman yung potential for tidal energy and some other are saying na mataas din yung potential for ocean thermal energy conversion. But ako naman, my study interest is on ocean wave energy generation. Okay, so yan. And then environmental and marine life impact. So this is what I am trying to explain a while ago. Because if we're going to put up wave energy facilities in the ocean, definitely it will affect the marine life, no, even the economic life of or the economic purpose or application of the given site might change, no? Kasi for example, sa Pilipinas, kapag pinag-uusapan natin yung wave energy, unang-una isipin natin yung mga islands na or mga places na kilala sa surfing or mga surfing sites. And definitely that is true. I have actually studied several surfing sites in the Philippines. And really, no, there is a very big potential for ocean wave energy. No? But no, yun nga ang magiging challenge basically because these areas or places are normally intended for surfing in which it attracts a lot of, diba, foreigners, no? Na talagang it is a source of income doon sa mga tao. And yet I am going to introduce a technology that might displace, no, okay, yung mga surfing sites na to. Okay, the next one is biomass energy. So ito, sa graduate studies ang daming nagpo-propose about biomass energy. Actually, even in the undergraduate program, no, actually I am currently handling thesis, no, ng mga undergraduate programs, and we have several proposals, student proposals about biomass energy. Kasi sobrang dami ng mga how to call it, potential technologies, okay, na pwedeng gamitin for biomass. No? Maraming forms kasi ng biomass, no? Yung mga malalaking facility, yung mga gumagamit ng mga biodigesters, di ba? Mga aerobic tsaka anaerobic biodigesters. Ganun. Okay? So, yung biomass energy is carbon neutral. Bakit siya carbon neutral, no? Kasi yung carbon dioxide na nire-release, okay, kapag sinunog is roughly equal to the carbon dioxide absorbed during the plant's growth. 'Di ba? Yung sa photosynthesis, no? Ah, yung carbon dioxide, no, ay ginagamit, no, ng plants para makapag-produce ng sugar. Okay? So ibig sabihin, yung carbon dioxide na yon ay nihigop ng plant. At kapag sinunog mo yung plant, magre-release siya ng carbon dioxide. So parang nano-neutralize lang yung na-absorb and no nai-emit na carbon dioxide. Kaya sa tinatawag na carbon neutral or neutral potential. Okay? So another is yung biomass energy, no, can be a potential solution to our waste problem. 'Di ba? Bawa, yung mga municipal waste, pwede mong padaanin yan sa mga pyrolyzers, ba? Pyrolysis para i-convert siya into fuel, no? Pwede mo siyang sunugin, no, sa combustion chamber, no? So, or pwede mo siyang i-incinerate, or pwede mo siyang ihalo with uh, other uh, biomass, no? Yung mga municipal waste, mga plastic, pwede mo siyang ihalo sa rice hull, sa mga wood husks, no? Or coconut husk, no? Ayan. So, yun. Potentially, this can be a solution for waste problem. Okay? And when you say biomass, most of these are really renewable. And no, this one is very versatile because it has several applications. Kahit sa bahay natin, ginagamit natin. Some of the consequences, okay, land and resource use. Siyempre, kailangan mo ng mga landfills or kailangan mo ng mga dendor thermal yung gusto mong itayo. Okay? Magtatanim ka ng maraming puno or maraming ipil-ipil, no, para gawin mo siyang panggatong. Okay? So, land and resource use, deforestation risk. O, yun nga, sinasabi ko kanina. Magtatanim ka ng maraming puno, pero puputulin mo din. Highlight yung phase 1. Okay. Then, yun, dahil nagsusunog, okay, kasi marami kasing paraan, di ba? Pwedeng, sabi ko nga, pwedeng incineration, pwedeng pyrolysis, pwedeng torrefaction, pwedeng combustion, pwedeng kapag thermal, no, kasi dalawang paraan ang pagko-convert ng biomass into energy. Pwedeng thermochemical, no, or pwedeng thermal, no. Pag sinabi mong thermochemical, ito yung mga ginagamitan ng uh, mga enzymes, no, more on chemical processes, no, mga digestion processes normally ito. Pero kapag mga thermal, ito yung mga direktang ginagamitan ng heat, no, katulad ng combustion, pyrolysis, torrefaction, so on. And no, efficiency issues. Okay? Kasi malawak yung variety ng biomass. Iba-iba sila ng heating value. So, yung iba-ibang klase ng fuel, may iba-ibang efficiency. Okay? So those are non-renewable and renewable energy sources. Yung common naman natin ngayon ay yung mga tinatawag nating hybrid systems. When you say hybrid systems, this combines renewable sources with conventional. Sabi ko nga kanina, for example, geothermal plant and diesel power generating plant, hydroelectric power plant and diesel power generating plants and so on. Okay? So what are the advantages of hybrid no systems? Okay, in terms of increased reliability and stability, no, it has a certain it complements no yung sources. If you're going to integrate renewable energy such as solar or wind with conventional kagaya ng diesel and natural gas, you can ensure a continuous and stable energy supply. Diba? Kapag mababa or kapag gabi, expected mo walang solar energy or kapag mahina yung hangin in terms of wind, pwede kang gumamit ng mga diesel or natural gas para nagko-compensate sila sa isa't isa. No, so yung tinatawag nating complementary sources. Kapag mataas naman yung generation mo ng solar or ng wind or ng hydro, mababa naman yung generation mo doon sa mga non-renewable energy power facilities. Okay? The next one is yung risk or it reduce risk of interruption. Siyempre kasi they complement each other, no, talagang and sustainable yung supply ng energy kasi nagba-back up sila sa isa't isa. So yung risk of power interruption ay na-minimize. No? Okay, the next is improve efficiency. Okay, alam naman natin ang efficiency ng mga renewable energy facilities ay mabababa. Solar, wind, lahat yan mabababa yung kanilang efficiency. Unlike with mga non-renewable plant, mga conventional power generating plants natin, ito naman ay medyo matataas. Excuse lang. No, Sir Jed? Yes, ano yan? Yung PowerPoint? Nag-comment na ako sa PowerPoint, hinahanap ko yung phase 1 tsaka phase 2, di ba pinapa-highlight ni Press? Oo. Yun yung sabi ko kay Chloe na i-highlight yung phase 1 tsaka phase 2 kung oo, kung ilang rooms, yung pagkakahati kasi 'di ba yung plano nun sambuo. Pero ano yung pagkakahati at ano yung laman ng phase 1? Mga rooms, may mga furnitures na ba 'yon? Oh, yun yung pinapadagdag ko doon sa infra. Yun lang naman ang natatanda kong hinahanap ni Pres. Okay, sige. Thank you. Ha? Ngayon lang. Oo. Sige. Thank you. Ay, nako. Hindi lang po nag-check lang ako ng mga documents. Okay, saan na ba ako? Ayan, storage integration, optimal energy use. Okay. Hybrid systems combine the strength of different energy sources, allowing for more efficient. No? Sabi ko nga, yung mga renewable are low efficient, yung mga non-renewable naman ay talagang mas mataas yung kanilang efficiency. Kaya pag pinagsama mo sila, na, na na-optimize natin yung kanilang efficiency. Okay? And then, it could also be used, yung mga storage integrations. Pwede kang gumamit ng mga battery or pwede kang gumamit ng storage ng mga primary forms of energy. Take note na ang ini-store natin sa mga battery ay secondary forms of energy. Pero yung mga fuel tank, tawag natin doon, mga production well, yun naman ay tinatawag nating primary storage of energy. So, magkaiba sila ng parehong storage pero magkaibang form. Cost saving over time, okay, yan yung isa sa advantage na rin, kasi in terms of fuel cost, kasi yung mga renewable ay alam naman natin hindi yan masyadong gumagamit ng fuel or di talaga siya gumagamit ng fuel. So instead, given the same amount of power generated kung yung iba kukuhanin natin sa mga renewable, mababawasan yung amount of fuel na gagamitin natin doon sa mga non-renewable. Kaya yung fuel cost ay nare-reduce. Thereby, it also lowers yung operational cost, no? Next, in terms of environmental benefits, no? Dahil gumagamit tayo ng renewable, medyo nababawasan natin yung emissions, okay, at mas nagiging sustainable yung energy production. Okay, in terms of flexibility, no, kasi 'di ba, yung mga non-renewable are very versatile. No? Unlike with mga renewable energy sources. So pag pinagtugma mo sila, nako-compensate nila yung pagiging non-versatile ng mga renewable energy resources. Next is in terms of consequences or disadvantages naman. Okay? So, yung consequences or disadvantage is high initial cost. No? Siyempre, mas mahal kasi yung renewable energy, may complex maintenance kasi mas maraming components ang gagamitin. You will be using both systems ng renewable and non-renewable. So, medyo, dahil mas maraming components, mas mataas yung kanilang maintenance. No? So, nagkakaroon din ng certain intermittency ng supply kasi kapag nagiging intermittent yung mga renewable energy resources. Okay, and sometimes challenging din yung pag-merge, no, nung dalawang magkaibang facility. So yun yung ano doon, yung integration ng mga facilities ay challenging. Okay, and then next key components, no, from the sources, titignan naman natin ngayon yung mga conversion technologies. Pag sinabi natin conversion technologies, these are, no, 'di ba? Kanina yung mga fuel or energy source, ito naman technologies naman. Okay? Kagaya ng mga internal combustion engines or external combustion engines, mga photovoltaic panels and wind turbines and so on. Okay? So it also includes yung grid technologies for electricity transmission and distribution, and no, also includes yung energy storage kagaya ng battery, pump hydro storage, or compressed air storage. Okay, so there are several considerations, no, na tinitingnan natin whenever we are choosing a certain conversion technologies. Okay, unang-una yung emission and pollutant, kagaya ng mga greenhouse gases. Okay, siyempre kung gagamit tayo ng fossil fuel, no, ibig sabihin yung mga technology na gagamitin natin are those technologies that are compatible with, no, fossil fuels. And yun, these technologies also releases, yun nga, yung mga greenhouse gases. So isa yan sa mga considerations that we have to look into, yung environmental. And it has a corresponding cost, no. Kapag nag-energy plan kayo, dapat nilalagyan natin ng corresponding cost yung tinatawag nating carbon footprint, because the carbon footprint actually represents, no, the emissions that are, no, emitted by these power generating systems, no. Kasama dapat yan sa plano. Then resource sustainability. Okay? Bawa yung hydropower, sustainable ba? Meron bang sufficient supply ng tubig? Yung solar energy ba? Yung lugar ba? All throughout the year, may dependable amount of solar energy? Or ganun din sa wind, all throughout the year ba? Yung characteristic ng hangin ay suitable for the power generating facilities. So yun yung mga tinitingnan natin, yung sustainability of the resource, and no, if we're going to put up facilities, titignan din natin yung effect, no, sa land and habitat. No, sabi ko nga, katulad nga nung sa Burgos, yung sa Burgos dati, yung mga yun ay dating kabundukan na punong-puno ng mga puno. Pero nung tinayuan siya ng mga wind farms, syempre, nagiging obstacle kasi. No, nagiging tawag natin doon, nagiging obstacle ng wind, no? Yung mga puno, kaya talagang tinatabas yun. Even dito sa Pililya, kung nakapunta na kayo, mapapansin nyo, wala masyadong matataas na puno. Because iniiwasan natin, or even mga structures, bawal, no? Kasi iniiwasan natin na magkaroon ng obstruction yung wind. Ganon din kapag mga solar farms, no? Kapag solar farms, kailangan talagang open na area, walang masyadong obstruction sa light, no? Para ma-maximize mo yung solar irradiance. No, so ibig sabihin kapag nagtatayo ka ng mga ganitong klaseng planta, no, potentially may mga madi-displace, no, or may mga apektuhan environmentally. Ganun din kapag mga hydro, bawal sa mga residential areas. Kapag geothermal naman, ganun din, no, and they are prone to yan yung mga vibrations and earthquakes and so on. Environmental considerations, no. Then another consideration yung tinatawag nating economic, no, consideration. Siyempre, titignan natin yung capital investment, no? Yung kanyang operating cost, no? Pag pinagkukumpara natin 'yan. Kapag namimili, titignan mo 'yan. Tinitignan natin yung levelized cost of energy. Ano ba itong levelized cost of energy? Kumbaga yung cost, no, ng facility all throughout its year o all throughout its lifetime ay no, kukumpute natin at dadalhin natin sa ngayon. Ang magiging reference point natin ay ngayon. So kung if we're going to compute, no, all the expenses, no, all throughout its operating life or all throughout its lifespan, kukumpute natin with the reference ng kasalukuyang panahon, yun yung tinatawag nating least cost or levelized cost of energy. And then you have economic incentives and subsidies. Di ba? Ano yan? Sa batas, no? Very important yan. Because may mga sources, no? May mga energy sources na binibigyan ng mga incentives and subsidies, especially, no, if you are promoting a certain technology or a certain source of energy. Nasa conversion technologies po. Talaga? Yung slides. Hindi ba gumagalaw yung slides? Energy conversion technology. Tama naman. Ayan, sorry, hindi ko na. And then yung economic incentives and subsidies, and syempre, it should also provide job creation. No, sabi ko nga, sa Philippines, no, if you're going to conduct research, most of the power generating plants in the Philippines, either renewable or non-renewable, are designed and constructed by foreign. Because most of these are under the build, operate, and transfer agreement. We call it BOT agreement. No? In which, no, after several years, no, this facility will be turned over to the Philippine government. So, karamihan talaga ng mga designers or nagtatayo ng mga planta ay mga foreign people. Tayo ay mga operators, yun, mga admin sometimes, no, doon sa planta. So, kahit pa paano, it provides job, no, sa mga tao. And then, the next one is yung availability of resources. Okay? Titignan din natin yan. So, kung gagamit ka ng solar energy, wind power, hydro, meron yung mga tinatawag na resource assessment. Okay, bago ka naman makapag-put up ng mga planta, talagang you have to conduct yung mga resource assessment. Different types of energy source. Iba-iba yung approaches on how to estimate or assess, no, the potential amount of energy. Okay, so actually that is a very good potential research, no, topic. Kami on our end sa UP, marami kami mga nagkakandak ng study about energy resource assessment, no. Different forms of energy, no. Ako sabi ko nga I am into ocean energy. But some of my friends, no, and classmates, sila ano naman, nagkakandak sila ng wax, no, at nagde-determine sila ng mga waste energy, no, na waste energy potential or energy coming from waste naman. And some of my friends are into development of mga solar energy technologies. So iba-iba kami, no. But then most of this actually starts with how much energy are we expecting coming from a given location. Yun yung tinatawag nating availability. And some geographic constraints. Okay, for example, sa akin, no, sa ocean energy, malaking impact yung geographic constraints, no, kasi yung wave characteristic ay nagbabago kapag depende sa depth ng dagat. Iba-iba kasi yung slope, no, nung bed, nung seabed. At yung slope ng seabed na yon nakaka-affect doon sa characteristic ng wave. So, yun yung isa sa mga example. And ganun din, no, yung wave energy din ay affected din kapag yung dagat ay nako-constraints or nasa strait na tinatawag. Ganun din yung mga tidal. Pero yung mga current energy naman, mas prefer naman nila yung mga nasa straits. So, yeah, iba-ibang klaseng technology, may mga geographical constraints siya. And then, in terms of reliability, no, tinitingnan natin yung capacity factor. No? Ano ba yung capacity factor? No, this refers to the ratio of yung actual energy na napoproduce to the maximum possible energy that can be generated. Yun yung tinatawag nating capacity factor. Halimbawa, based on your estimation, given the resource assessment, based on your assessment, kaya mo produce ng 100 megawatt. Okay, pero ang na-produce mo lang ay 30 megawatts. Ibig sabihin, your capacity factor is only 30%. Okay, in terms of intermittency, yan, renewable energy, alam naman natin that is common problem. And how are we going to integrate this on the grid? How are we going to connect? No, kaya nga 'di ba, yung there are some power generating facilities that are not connected to the grid or mga off-grid facilities na tinatawag natin. But if you have, no, example na malaki yung bubong nyo at nakapaglagay ka ng solar panels, medyo malaki capacity exceeding your required energy, pwede mo siyang i-connect sa grid, no? At magkaroon ka ng net energy metering na tinatawag. The next consideration is technological maturity and innovation. Ayan. So sabi ko nga, yung mga non-renewable energy ay well-established na yan. But in terms of renewable energy, most of these technologies are still under the stage of development. But, no, you can invest on it, no, kasi ngayon, very progressive na yung mga technology. So, someday, sabi ko nga, talagang magbabalance or magpapang-abot yung cost ng renewable at non-renewable. Kasi, what will happen is itong mga non-renewable energy ay magdi-deplete, no? So, tumataas yung demand, bumababa yung resource, no? So kailangan gumamit ng ibang technology. So gagamit tayo ng renewable energy. So darating yung time na yung kanilang cost ay magpapang-abot din. And that is something that we have to anticipate. No, especially that the Philippines, yung ating self-sufficiency ay napakababa. So pag nagkaroon ng scarcity doon sa mga renewable energy, mga non-renewable energy sources, we will be one of those countries that will be greatly affected. Next is yung social impact, social and community impact. Unang-una dyan yung public acceptance and support. No? Katulad nga nung sa Pilipinas, ganoon na nangyari sa nuclear power facilities. No? Mababa yung public acceptance and support because mas natatakot sila sa possibility na yung nuclear facilities ay maging safety risk natin, maging national threat natin, maging weapon natin, or baka siya ay sumabog, no, at mamatay tayo lahat, no, katulad ng sa Chernobyl tsaka Fukushima. Okay, so parang ganon yung naging mindset ng mga tao noon, kaya yung public acceptance ng ng nuclear facilities na meron tayo ay mababa. Kaya that's one of the main reasons kung bakit hindi pinatakbo, no, or napatakbo yung Bataan Power Generating Plant, no. Ganon din, no, kapag nagpo-put up ng mga dams or mga reservoir. Okay, syempre marami diyan yung nagrereklamo kasi syempre madi-display sila kasi sabi ko nga pag mga reservoir it should be, no, isolated, malayo yan sa mga residential areas. Ganon din, no, kapag maglalagay ka ng mga landfills para doon mo ipunin yung biomass, no, talagang it poses a certain threat sa mga tao sa community. Kasi syempre, basura yon, no? So may mga bacteria, may mga virus na kasama yung mga basura. So it imposes certain health concern sa mga tao. Ganon din sa mga geothermal plant, no? If you happen to go sa mga geothermal plant, no, medyo mabaho yung amoy ng mga effluent na lumalabas, no? Especially kapag mataas yung sulfur dioxide content ng effluent. Talagang very although hindi siya nakakamatay, pero very irritating yung kanyang amoy. So those are yung mga some issues na talagang affects yung public acceptance and support, no? Iba-iba. No, ganun din kapag, 'di ba, syempre kapag magtatayo ka ng mga solar farms, mga wind farms, kakalbuhin mo yung mga bundok. Kakalbuhin mo yung mga lupa, yung mga area. Puputulin mo yung mga puno kasi dapat walang obstruction ng wind, walang obstruction ng light. So, 'di ba? If you are an environmentalist, ayaw mong maputol yung mga puno, no? So, sa'yo na mababa yung acceptance mo sa mga ganong technology. Next is the local community engagement. Siyempre, sila yung directly affected. No? So, kailangan merong engagement din, okay, within the local community. And then, energy access and equity. Okay? So, yun yung isa sa mga concerns natin. No? Because in some other areas, medyo mas mahal yung cost of electricity. Kung ikukumpara mo dito. There are even provinces na mas mataas yung cost of electricity kaysa sa Metro Manila. Okay, yan yung isa sa mga issues na kailangan natin tingnan. And then, regulatory and policy framework. Ayan. So, syempre, dyan na pumapasok yung mga government regulations, mga permitting and licensing, and the transition goals. No? So there are several plants na iba-iba kasi lang requirement. So, may mga planta na mas madali yung requirement at may mga government support pa at may mga planta naman na medyo tedious, very tedious yung pag-a-apply ng mga requirement because nililimit na ng government. The next one is yung safety and risk factors. So, syempre, katulad ng mga nuclear power plant, no, alam naman natin yan, no? Environmental hazards. Next na titignan natin is in terms of scalability, if you're going to put up a facility, as much as possible, you want it na pwede pang expand pagdating ng panahon. Okay? So, ang mga coal-fired, mga oil-fired, mga gas-fired power generating plant, hindi siya ganun ka-scalable. Okay? Talagang pag tinayo mo siya, malalaki. Hindi mo siya pwedeng itayong maliit. Okay? So, pag mamimili ka, titignan mo din, gaano ba kalaki yung capacity na kailangan mong i-provide? And what kind of facility are you going to put up? Kasi kung highly variable, no, yung demand na sinusupply mo, kailangan pag-aralan mo kung anong tamang combination ng mga power generating systems na gagamitin. So, kailangan din flexible, no, or highly maneuverable. Kasi sabi nga natin, yung demand for energy varies from time to time. Kaya itong mga conventional power generating plants, sobrang baba ng kanilang maneuverability. Unlike itong mga renewable energy facilities, they are highly maneuverable. So, ibig sabihin, dapat gawin mong base load yung mga mababa yung maneuverability at gawin mong peak load compensating equipment, no? Ibig sabihin yung mga peak load equipment lang, yung mga renewable energy kasi sila madaling i-adjust yung output. Okay? So, may balance. Alamin mo ngayon, kaya natin siya tinatawag na base load. So, pag sinabi natin base load, ano ba yung pinaka, no, energy demand, no, yung usual energy demand ng isang lugar. So, ngayon, kapag nagkakaroon ng peak demand, no, saka ka lang gagamit ng mga facilities na mataas yung maneuverability kasi i-on mo lang siya kapag kailangan, madali naman siyang i-off kapag di na siya kailangan. So, yun tinatawag nating flexibility. Then, another things, no, that you have to look into is yung tinatawag nating grid resilience. Okay, pag sinabi nating grid resilience, in terms of disaster, may mga bagyo, may mga typhoon, gaano ba ka-resilient yung facility? Ano-ano ba yung mga facilities that are highly resilient? No? Kasi pag nagkaroon ng yan mga mga natural calamities, no? Syempre hindi pwedeng sa mahabang panahon ay mawalan ka ng kuryente. Okay? And ito namang mga conventional facilities are known to be highly resilient. Napaka-grid resilient naman nila. Okay? In terms of grid frequency and voltage control, okay, these are, no? Pagdating sa transmission and distribution, they must ensure yung stable yung frequency and voltage. Kasi yung fluctuations ng supply ng electricity, nakakasira yan sa mga equipment. Okay? Next is yung smart grid capabilities. Okay, smart grid naman, 'di ba ito yung sa WSM natin na discuss ko during the first few meetings natin, no? This is really intended para i-monitor yung real time, okay, demand and supply. Okay, so sabi ko nga yan yung kagandahan kapag meron ka mga flexible facilities kasi you can easily adjust the supply depending on the variations ng demand. Another is yung integration of renewable energy sources. Ayan. Kapag nag-integrate tayo ng mga renewable resources, titignan natin kung paano natin ma-address yung intermittency. So ano-ano yung mga paraan para ma-address yung intermittency? Pwede tayong gumamit ng hybrid. Or pwede tayong gumamit ng mga energy storage katulad ng mga battery. Or pwede tayong gumamit ng energy storage katulad ng mga pump, katulad ng pump hydropower plant. Or pwede tayong gumamit ng compressed gas power generating plants. No? Okay, in terms of distributed energy resource integration, o tinatawag nating DER, ito yung mga technologies na nagsusupport ng integration ng distributed energy resources katulad ng mga rooftop solar, mga small-scale wind, and local battery storage. Okay? Yan yung tinatawag nating distributed energy resource integration. No? Na kahit saang lugar, bawa sa bahay mo, pwede kang gumamit both, no? Electricity coming from the Meralco or electricity coming from your own solar panel. And then microgrids and virtual power plants, no? Pag sinabi nating microgrids, no? Normally tinatayo natin to sa mga off-grid areas, no? Mga localized generation and storage just to provide electricity doon sa mga smaller grids na nangangailangan ng electricity. So, ito yung kumaga kung titingnan natin, saan ba natin pinaka-ideally pwedeng gamitin yung mga renewable energy. So, titignan mo itong tatlo. Kapag na-satisfy itong tatlo, it only indicates na it is advisable to make use of renewable energy resources. Okay? Then, pasok tayo doon sa grid technologies. Okay, kanina ang pinag-aaralan natin ay efficiency naman and loss reduction sa transmission. Okay? Kung nakikita mo yung Meralco bill nyo o yung mga electricity bill nyo, meron doon mga transmission losses. Binabayaran talaga natin yun. Okay? So yung high efficient transmission technologies that minimizes the energy losses during transmission. So kaya tinataasan natin yung voltahe o yung tinatawag nating high voltage direct current. No? Lalong-lalo na kapag mga long distance transmission because it reduces the losses kung ikukumpara mo sa mga long transmission lines na alternating current. So, ginagawa nating high voltage direct current para mapababa natin yung transmission losses. Or we can also make use of mga advanced conductors, no? Para mabawasan yung mga losses natin using mga superconducting materials or high temperature superconducting cables sa mga transmission lines para mabawasan natin yung mga resistive losses. Okay? That would improve the efficiency of the grid. And we can make use of energy storage to minimize the transmission and distribution of kasi 'di ba sa mga planta hindi naman saktong, kumbaga, kung ito yung demand, hindi naman saktong yun lang din ang ipoproduce mo. So definitely, kailangan maglagay ka ng certain buffer or allowance. No? Eh, ang tanong, kapag hindi mo nagagamit yung excess power na yon, saan siya mapupunta? Supposed to be, if maganda yung pagkakadesign ng grid, dapat yung energy na yon ay may store. Okay? So, yun yung, ano naman, yung energy storage. Okay? Another is yung, yan, na-discuss ko naman na to, no? Yung scalability, katulad ng kanina, yung future proofing naman, okay, so it could adapt yun sa mga new technologies. Pag sinabi natin future proof, kung mag-acquire ka ng mga bagong facility, make sure that that will be compatible, that system will be compatible for a long period of time. Huwag kang gagamit ng mga lumang technology kasi ma-phase out na yun. Pag lumabas na yung mga bagong technology, magiging irrelevant and ano na yung technology mo, obsolete na yung technology. Kaya when you invest, no, try to check ano ba yung trend, no? Halimbawa, sa mga photovoltaic cell ngayon, ano ba yung current trend sa mga photovoltaic cell? Kasi baka yung mga ginagamit mong photovoltaic cell ay for phase out na. And pag nasira yung facility mo, wala ka nang pang replace, no? So on. Okay? So actually medyo nasa kalagitnaan pa lang tayo ng slides, but then I will end no this lecture today. It's 4:56. So meron pa kayong 4 minutes, no. And thank you very much sa lahat ng umattend. I will just give you an additional points, no, for the activities for attending our class today. Kasi as I understand, I have announced naman that I will be having a class at 3 p.m. So I wasn't just able to explain bakit hindi ako nakapag-klase on time. Pero before I started the discussion, I already explained it to Sir Aranda, the reason why I started at 3 p.m. Okay? But then doon sa mga umattend ng after 3 p.m., thank you very much for attending. Sabi ko nga, bibigyan ko na lang kayo ng additional credit for attending our class today. No? Hindi ko alam kung bakit di na umattend yung mga classmates. No? Baka may certain policy silang sinusunod. But anyway, thank you very much. Okay, that will be all for today and see you next meeting po. Thank you.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.